Hey gang, welcome back to another video. Now I'm often asked, how do I improve my haunt lighting without breaking the bank to do it? And while there's no silver bullet approach to this, there are a few things that you can do with a limited number of fixtures that will definitely improve the overall quality of your lighting. So in this Haunt Lighting 101, I'll show you two of my favorites. So let's get to it. If you've watched any of my videos on LED lighting, then these two DIY options will look familiar to you. The one thing I haven't discussed is our use of floodlights. More specifically, these Bluetooth-enabled RGB LED floodlights. Because they're Bluetooth-enabled, I can change the color as well as brightness and saturation from an app to really help dial in just the right look for our display. This is an absolute must and makes adjusting your lighting very easy. The other thing I really like about these particular floodlights is that they come with diffused glass. This helps to create more even light without any hot spots, so it makes it a bit more difficult to tell exactly where your light source is coming from. Okay, enough about the lights, let's talk about how to get the most out of them. I've set up a small section of our cemetery to help with this demonstration. This is more or less how our haunt is set up. Multiple tombstones and monuments in staggered rows to make them easier to see. This is also done to create layers of shadows when they're lit from the front. I've taken two 25-watt floodlights and placed them in opposing corners of the yard, rotated at 45 degrees toward the middle of the display. Let's power them on and see how we've done. Now that's starting to look like something. Because the floodlights are low to the ground, the tombstones are uplit, creating shadows, texture, and height that adds more interest to the display. Changing the position and height of your floodlights will alter these shadows, so don't be afraid to do a bit of experimenting until you're happy with how it looks. I should also mention that these lights are only at 50% brightness. Having the ability to control the amount of light in your scene or display can make all the difference. Too much light and the display looks cartoonish. Not enough light and it becomes impossible to see the details. So being able to adjust brightness can be a huge factor in the overall quality of the light in your haunt. If you had limited lighting, you could stop here, but for our display, we like to introduce accent lighting to help bring out more of the details. This is often accomplished through the use of LED candles. I'll start with a few candles as seen in the foreground and background of this example. These practical lights are not exactly bright enough to adequately light our props, but we can resolve that with a bit of motivated lighting. In short, motivated lighting is the use of an unseen light source that can be attributed to a natural or practical light source within your scene. In this case, the practical light source is the candle, and the motivated light is the added glow created by a hidden spotlight. This use of motivated lighting is a great way to introduce more light to your scene without having to explain where it's coming from. That said, you'll notice there's a secondary orange light that's cast across the fallen bust in the foreground. This is done just to bring attention to the bust, but it's not considered motivated lighting, since there's no real reason for it. But because it's an interesting piece that's in the shadow of a tombstone, I decided to accentuate it anyhow. It also helped to make the smaller tombstone in the center of the display more visible. I guess what I'm saying is that sometimes you have to break the rules. Or maybe just add in a few more candles to make it all make sense. Now this approach can be taken using multiple colors of floodlights or accent lights depending on your personal taste. And don't be afraid to change the direction, height, or brightness of your light to achieve the desired look. Well, hopefully this helped to demystify haunt lighting, or at the very least, added a new trick to your haunter tool bag. Well, that's going to do it for this video. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, but most importantly, go make something.